1968 Lincoln penny. What if I told you that a simple penny hiding in a note jar, forgotten inside a drawer, or mixed into your everyday pocket change could be worth far more than just 1 cent? Millions of people have handled the 1968 Lincoln penny without giving it a second look, but for collectors, this tiny copper coin holds a fascinating story filled with history, rare varieties, surprising values, and exciting discoveries. Today, on Hardest Penny, we're taking a deep dive into one of America's most interesting modern Lincoln cents. Stay with me until the end because one small detail on your 1968 penny could make the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The 1968 Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint during an important period in American coinage. By 1968, the United States Mint was recovering from the massive coin shortage of the mid-1960s. Demand for coins had exploded, and the Mint had been working around the clock to produce enough coins for circulation. In 1968, mint marks returned to U.S. coins after being temporarily removed from 1965 through 1967. That means collectors once again began seeing the familiar D mint mark for Denver and the S mint mark for San Francisco. The return of mint marks makes the 1968 penny an important part of Lincoln cent history. More than 2.8 billion 1968 Lincoln pennies were produced, making it one of the highest mintage coins of its era. Because so many were struck, most examples found in circulation today are worth only their face value. However, collectors know that rarity is not always about how many coins were made. Sometimes it is about condition, minting errors, or special varieties that escaped into circulation unnoticed. The 1968 Lincoln penny features the classic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, appear at the bottom of Lincoln's shoulder. On the reverse, you'll find the famous wheat design had already been replaced years earlier by the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959. This design remained on pennies until 2008 and became one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history. The coin was struck using an alloy made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. These specifications remain standard for Lincoln cents until the composition changed in 1982. Because of its high copper content, many collectors enjoy owning these earlier pennies, especially as copper prices have increased over time. Most circulated 1968 pennies are common and usually sell for only a few cents if they show normal wear. Coins in extremely fine or about uncirculated condition may bring a small premium, while mint state examples become much more desirable. A coin that has never entered circulation, with original luster and very few marks, can be worth several dollars depending on its grade. As the grade increases, the value rises dramatically. Professional grading services carefully examine every tiny detail under magnification. A mint state 65 example may sell for a modest premium, but coins graded MS67 or higher become significantly scarcer. Since very few survive in exceptional condition, collectors compete fiercely for the finest known examples. Auction prices for top-grade 1968 Lincoln pennies have reached hundreds and, in some cases, over $1,000 depending on certification, appeal, and market demand. One of the biggest reasons collectors search through rolls of pennies is the possibility of finding mint errors. The 1968 penny is known for several interesting errors that can increase its value dramatically. Off-center strikes are among the most popular. These occur when the coin blank is not properly centered during striking, leaving part of the design missing. The more dramatic the off-center strike while still showing the date and mint mark, the more valuable the coin may become. Another exciting error is the broad strike. This happens when the retaining collar fails during the striking process, allowing the coin to spread outward without its normal raised rim. Broad-struck pennies are immediately recognizable and often command strong premiums among error collectors. Die cracks are another feature to watch for. Over time,
Coin dies develop stress fractures that leave raised lines on the finished coins. While small die cracks are relatively common, large or dramatic examples can attract significant collector interest. Some collectors even specialize in studying these die varieties. Collectors should also look for double die characteristics. Although major double dies are uncommon for the 1968D penny, minor doubling can sometimes be found on the lettering, date, or other design elements. It is important to distinguish true double dies from machine doubling, which is much more common and generally adds little or no value. Careful examination under proper lighting and magnification is essential. Another valuable error is the repunched mint mark, often abbreviated as RPM. During this period, mint marks were punched into working dies by hand before the dies were used to strike coins. Occasionally, the mint mark was punched more than once in slightly different positions, creating visible doubling around the letter D. Certain RPM varieties are highly collectible and can sell for substantial premiums depending on their rarity and visibility. Collectors should also pay attention to coins struck on the wrong plankett. Although extremely rare, a 1968D penny accidentally struck on a foreign or incorrect metal blank can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. These fascinating mint mistakes are among the most prized discoveries because they represent genuine production errors that slipped through mint quality control. Color also plays a major role in determining value. Lincoln cents are classified as brown, red-brown, or red. A full red example retains nearly all of its original mint color and is generally worth much more than a brown coin of the same grade. Since copper naturally darkens over time, finding a brilliant red 1968D penny after more than 5 decades is increasingly difficult, making these coins especially desirable. If you think you have a valuable example, avoid cleaning it. Cleaning can permanently damage the coin surface and significantly reduce its value. Even gentle polishing leaves microscopic scratches that experienced collectors and professional grading services can easily detect. A naturally toned coin is almost always more valuable than one that has been cleaned. Proper storage is equally important. Keep valuable pennies in acid-free holders, protective flips, or hard plastic capsules. Store them in a cool, dry environment away from humidity, fingerprints, and direct sunlight. Good preservation helps maintain both appearance and long-term value. Many collectors still search bank rolls looking for high-grade 1968D pennies because most examples entered circulation decades ago. Every unopened roll offers the possibility of finding coins with exceptional luster, attractive color, or rare die varieties. Roll searching remains one of the most affordable and exciting ways to build a collection while enjoying the thrill of discovery. Auction records remind us that condition truly matters. While an average circulated coin may be worth only 1 cent, a certified gem quality example with outstanding eye appeal can sell for hundreds of dollars. Add a rare mint error or a repunched mint mark, and the value can increase even further. These remarkable sales continue to inspire collectors to inspect every penny they receive. The 1968D Lincoln penny also represents a fascinating moment in American history. It reflects the mint's recovery from the coin shortage, the return of mint marks, and the continuing popularity of the Lincoln memorial design. Although billions were produced, the finest survivors have become surprisingly difficult to locate, proving that rarity often develops over time through survival rather than low mintage alone. So, the next time you receive change from a store, open an old coin jar, or search through a family collection, don't ignore the humble 1968D Lincoln penny. Check the mint mark, inspect the surfaces carefully, weigh the coin if possible, and look closely for unusual errors or outstanding condition. What appears to be an ordinary 1-cent coin could turn out to be an exciting collectible with real market value. Coin collecting is full of unexpected discoveries, and sometimes the greatest treasures are the ones people overlook every single day. Thank you for watching Hardest Penny. If you enjoy learning about rare Lincoln cents, hidden mint errors, and valuable coins that could still be found in circulation, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible coin story. 1980 Lincoln penny. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a single penny, and discovering that the tiny coin you almost ignored could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. It sounds like something that only happens in movies, but it has happened to real coin collectors across the United States. Every year, valuable Lincoln pennies are discovered in old piggy banks, forgotten coin jars, inherited collections, and even everyday pocket change. Among these coins is the 1980 Lincoln penny, a coin that many people overlook because it appears so common. Yet behind its familiar design lies a fascinating history, collectible varieties, valuable mint errors, and high-grade examples that have attracted serious attention from collectors. Today on Hardest Penny, we're exploring everything you should know about the 1980 Lincoln penny and why this seemingly ordinary 1-cent coin deserves a much closer look before you spend it. The 1980 Lincoln penny was produced during a period when the United States Mint was striking billions of coins each year to meet the nation's growing demand for circulating currency. Pennies remained an essential part of everyday commerce, and millions of Americans handled them daily without giving much thought to their history or potential value. In 1980, Lincoln cents were struck at 3 different mint facilities. Coins without a mint mark were produced in Philadelphia, coins with the D mint mark came from Denver, and proof coins carrying the S mint mark were struck at the San Francisco Mint specifically for collectors. Each version has its own appeal, and collectors often seek examples from every mint to complete a full set. The obverse of the 1980 Lincoln penny features the timeless portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." The word liberty is positioned to the left of the portrait, while the date 1980 appears on the right. If the coin was struck at Denver, you'll see a small D mint mark below the date. Brenner's initials, VDB, remain subtly placed near Lincoln's shoulder, preserving the signature of one of America's most respected coin designers. On the reverse, the familiar Lincoln Memorial design continues the series that began in 1959. The memorial stands proudly in the center, with the words United States of America around the upper edge and 1 cent displayed prominently below the building. If you look carefully under magnification, you can even see the tiny statue of Abraham Lincoln inside the memorial. This remarkable level of detail on such a small coin remains one of the most admired features in American coin design. The 1980 Lincoln penny was struck using the traditional bronze alloy of 95% copper and 5% zinc. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. This composition is especially significant because it was one of the last used before the major composition change introduced in 1982, when most Lincoln cents switched to a zinc core with the thin copper coating. Because of this, many collectors enjoy assembling complete sets of the heavier copper cents produced before the transition. Hundreds of millions of 1980 pennies entered circulation, making worn examples extremely common today. Most circulated coins are worth only face value or a few cents because of their abundance. However, experienced collectors know that value is determined by much more than mintage, condition, original color, eye appeal, and the presence of mint errors or die varieties can transform an ordinary penny into a highly desirable collectible. Professional grading services evaluate coins on the internationally recognized Sheldon grading scale from 1 to 70. A circulated 1980 penny with noticeable wear has limited value, but an uncirculated coin with full mint luster can command a premium. As the grade increases into the gem mint state range, the number of surviving examples becomes much smaller. Coins graded MS67 or better are especially difficult to find because even tiny contact marks or scratches can lower a grade. Exceptional examples have sold for hundreds and, in certain cases, over $1,000 at major auctions when certified by respected grading companies. Color is another critical factor for copper coins. Lincoln cents are generally classified as brown, red-brown, or red-brown coins have lost most of their original mint color through natural oxidation. Red-brown examples retain some original brilliance, while full red coins preserve nearly all of their original copper luster. Since bright red surfaces become increasingly rare as copper ages, collectors are willing to pay significant premiums for high-grade red examples that still display vibrant original color decades after leaving the mint. One of the most exciting aspects of collecting the 1980 Lincoln penny is searching for mint errors. Error coins are created when something unexpected happens during the manufacturing process, making each piece unique. These mistakes often become some of the most valuable coins in the series because they combine rarity with fascinating production history. Off-center strikes are among the easiest errors to recognize. They occur when the blank blanket is not properly aligned inside the coining press, causing only part of the design to be struck. The value depends on how far off-center the strike is and whether the date remains visible. Dramatic off-center errors with a clearly readable date are highly desirable and often sell for impressive premiums. Broad-struck pennies represent another interesting error. These coins were struck without the retaining collar that normally keeps the metal confined during striking. As a result, the finished coin appears wider than normal and lacks its standard raised rim. Broad strike errors are popular among collectors because they are easy to identify without specialized equipment. Double strikes can also occur when a coin receives more than one impression from the dies. Some examples show overlapping designs, while others display dramatic shifts that create eye-catching patterns. The greater the separation between the strikes, the more valuable the coin may become, especially if both impressions are clearly visible. Collectors also search for die cracks, die chips, and retained cuts. Over time, the steel dies used to strike coins develop stress fractures from repeated use. These flaws transfer onto the coins as raised lines or unusual lumps. While small die cracks are fairly common, large or unusual die breaks often become recognized varieties that specialists actively pursue. Another valuable possibility is a double die variety. Genuine double dies occur during the die manufacturing process rather than during striking. True doubling may appear on letters, numbers, or design details, and it is different from machine doubling, which usually has little collectible value. Careful examination under magnification is often necessary to identify authentic double die varieties. Although extremely rare, some 1980 Lincoln pennies have been discovered struck on the wrong blanket. A penny accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination or even a foreign coin can become one of the most valuable mint errors in the series. Because these mistakes escape normal quality control, they attract intense interest whenever they appear at auction. If you believe you have found an unusual 1980 penny, resist the temptation to clean it. Cleaning permanently alters the coin's original surface and almost always reduces its value. Professional collectors and grading services prefer coins with natural surfaces, even if they show age or toning. Originality is one of the most important qualities in numismatics. Proper storage is equally important for preserving your collection. Place valuable coins in protective holders, archival quality flips, or hard plastic capsules designed specifically for coins. Avoid excessive humidity, direct sunlight, and frequent handling. If you must hold a coin, touch only the edges to prevent fingerprints or skin oils from damaging the surface. Many collectors continue searching through bank rolls because outstanding discoveries are still possible. While most 1980 pennies are common, high-grade examples with brilliant original color, attractive eye appeal, or unusual mint errors continue to emerge from circulation and long-forgotten collections. The excitement of finding a valuable coin worth far more than 1 cent keeps the hobby alive for collectors of all ages. Auction records consistently demonstrate that condition and rarity matter far more than mintage alone. An average circulated 1980 penny may never be worth more than a few cents, but a certified gem mint state red example or a dramatic mint error can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars. These remarkable sales remind collectors that extraordinary value often hides inside the most ordinary-looking coins. The 1980 Lincoln penny also represents an important chapter in the history of American coinage. It belongs to the final years of the traditional bronze composition before the mint adopted the copper-plated zinc cent. As a result, it serves as both a collectible coin and a historical reminder of a changing era in U.S. mint production. Every surviving example carries a small piece of that history. So, before you spend your next penny, take a closer look. Examine the date carefully, check for the mint mark,
inspect the coin under good lighting, and search for unusual doubling, striking errors, die cracks, or exceptional original color. Even a coin that appears ordinary at first glance could become an exciting addition to a collection or even a valuable auction piece. Coin collecting is built on patience, observation, and the thrill of discovery, and sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in plain sight. Thank you for watching Hardest Penny. If you enjoy learning about rare Lincoln cents, valuable mint errors, hidden varieties, and remarkable auction discoveries, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible coin story. Your next valuable penny could already be waiting in your pocket.
1965 Lincoln penny. What if the next penny you find in your pocket isn't worth just 1 cent, but hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars? It sounds unbelievable, but it's absolutely possible. Every year, collectors across the United States discover valuable Lincoln pennies that have been sitting unnoticed in old years, family collections, and even everyday pocket change. One of the most talked about coins from the modern era is the 1965 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks ordinary, but behind its simple appearance lies an incredible story of history, rare mint errors, hidden varieties, and record-breaking auction prices. Today on Hardest Penny, we're uncovering everything you need to know about the fascinating 1965 Lincoln penny. And by the end of this video, you will understand why millions of collectors still search for this coin more than half a century after it was made. The year 1965 was one of the most important years in the history of American coin. During the early 1960s, the United States faced a serious coin shortage. Silver coins were disappearing from circulation as people began saving them because of their increasing metal value. To solve the crisis, the US Mint made several major changes. One of the biggest decisions was to temporarily remove mint marks from all circulating coins. As a result, Lincoln pennies track in 1965 do not carry a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. Every regular 1965 Lincoln penny was produced without a mint mark, regardless of where it was tracked. This makes the 1965 penny unique in the Lincoln cent series and an important coin for collectors. The 1965 Lincoln penny features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head appears the word Liberty while the date 1965 is located to the right. The national motto in God We Trust arches across the top of the coin. On the reverse is the famous Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny image of the Lincoln statue inside the memorial, an amazing detail considering the small size of the coin. Brenner's initials, VDB, are located near Lincoln's shoulder, adding another historic feature to this classic American coin. The 1965 Lincoln penny was tracked using a alloy of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it a weight of approximately 3 and 11 grams. These copper cents remain popular among collectors because they were produced before the composition changed in 1982. Their rich copper color and historical significance continue to attract coin enthusiasts around the world. More than 1 billion 1965 Lincoln pennies were produced, making the coin very common in circulated condition. Because of this enormous minty, most known examples are worth only face value or a small premium. However, collectors know that minty alone does not determine value. The condition of the coin, its original color, and the presence of rare mint errors or varieties can make an enormous difference. Coins are graded on a numerical scale. One of the biggest reasons collectors search for 1965 pennies is the possibility of discovering valuable mint errors. Error coins are created when something goes wrong during the minting process, making each piece unique. These mistakes are genuine products of the US Mint and are highly sought after by collectors. One popular error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank is not perfectly aligned inside the press, causing part of the design to be missing. If the data remains visible while a significant portion of the design is off-center, the coin can be worth hundreds of dollars depending on the severity of the error. Another exciting error is the broad streak. This happens when the returning collar falls during striking, allowing the metal to spread beyond its normal diameter. Broadstruck pennies are easy to recognize because they lack the standard rush rim and appear larger than normal. Collectors also search for die cracks, die chips, and return cuts. These occur as the dice wear out after striking thousands of coins. Rush lines, unusual bumps, or missing die fragments create distinctive patterns that make individual coins desirable to specialists. Some dramatic die breaks become famous among Lincoln cent collectors. Double streaks are another fascinating mint error. A coin might receive two impressions instead of one, creating overlapping images that are immediately noticeable. Depending on the amount of rotation and the visibility of both streaks, these coins can command impressive prices. One of the most valuable possibilities is finding a coin struck on their own planchet. Although extremely rare, a 1965 Lincoln penny accidentally struck on a foreign coin blank or another denominations. Planchet can be worth thousands of dollars. These spectacular errors are considered major collectibles because they demonstrate unusual mistakes during production. Collectors should also pay close attention to double die varieties. Genuine double dice occur when the die itself receives multiple slightly misaligned impressions during manufacture. This creates noticeable doubling on letters, numbers, or the sign elements. While not every double coin is valuable, authentic double dice are highly collectible and often sell for substantial premiums. Because mint marks were removed in 1965, one of the most famous counterfeit alterations involves adding a fake the or S mint mark to the coin. Some dishonest individuals attempt to create a rare-looking coin by attaching a small mint mark from another penny. Experienced collectors and professional grading services can quickly identify these older coins, so always examine suspicious examples carefully before making a purchase. Color plays a major role in determining value. Copper coins are classified as brown, red-brown, or red. A full red example retains nearly all of its original mint luster and brilliant color. Since the copper naturally darkens with age, truly red 1965 pennies are much scarcer than brown examples. As a result, collectors often pay significantly higher prices for certified red coins in mint state grades. If you believe you've found an outstanding 1965 Lincoln penny, never clean it. Cleaning removes the original surface and creates tiny scratches that permanently reduce collector value. Even if the coin looks brighter afterward, professional graders can easily detect cleaning, and the coin will usually be worth much less than it would have been in its natural condition. Proper storage is equally important. Place valuable pennies in protective holders, hard plastic capsules, or acid-free coin flips. Avoid touching the surfaces with bare fingers because oils from your skin can leave permanent marks. Store your collection in a cool, dry environment away from humidity and direct sunlight to preserve its appearance for future generations. Many collectors continue searching through bank rolls and old collections because valuable discoveries still happen every year. While most 1965 pennies are common, high-grade examples, dramatic mint errors, and unusual varieties remain hidden in circulation and forgotten collections. The excitement of finding one of these rare coins is what keeps the hobby alive for millions of people. Auction results continue to prove that collectors are willing to pay remarkable prices for exceptional 1965 Lincoln pennies. A common circulated coin might be worth only 1 cent, but a flawless certified example with outstanding eye appeal or a dramatic mint error can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Every great discovery begins with someone taking a closer look at an ordinary coin. The 1965 Lincoln penny reminds us that history, craftsmanship, and opportunity can all exist in something as small as a single cent. It represents a unique period when mint marks disappeared, production reached extraordinary levels, and the United States mint adapted to one of the greatest coin shortages in its history. More than 60 years later, this humble penny continues to inspire collectors to search through their chains with open curiosity. So before you spend your next penny, take a moment to examine it carefully. Check the date, inspect the surfaces under good lighting, look for unusual doubling, striking errors, or exceptional color, and if the coin appears to be in outstanding condition, consider having it evaluated by a professional grading service. You never know when an ordinary looking coin could become the most valuable piece in your collection. Thank you for watching Hardest Penny. If you enjoy learning about rare Lincoln pennies, hidden mint errors, valuable coin varieties, and real auction discoveries, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible coin story. The next valuable penny could already be waiting in your pocket.